In the Shadow Forest dungeon, Chen Feng was found gravely injured. His decision to not join any team had led to these injuries. He held a belief that defeating players solely for points was dishonorable. Luo Feng's team inflicted the injuries on Chen Feng. After the attack, Luo Feng approached and faced Chen Feng directly, asserting he was just abiding by the game's rules. Seeing Chen Feng in a vulnerable state, Luo Feng stomped on him forcefully. This caused Chen Feng to bleed from the mouth and die instantly, allowing Luo Feng to secure 2,000 of his points. Afterwards, Zhang Yi commended Luo Feng, attributing their team's rapid point accumulation to Luo Feng's leadership. However, Luo Feng felt bored defeating such trash players, deriving no pleasure from it. He would not have acted as he did if not for the points. Not long after, all players in the dungeon received a system notification. Information about score rankings and player locations was announced. As boredom began to envelop Luo Feng, this news was a breath of fresh air, reigniting his enthusiasm. This news was exactly what Luo Feng had hoped for. For him, it was the opportunity he had been waiting for to seize points from other players in a way he deemed fair. It seemed the academy wanted to make the competition even fiercer. Upon checking the point rankings, Luo Feng was shocked. To his surprise, Yiwu, whom he had previously dismissed as a mere level 3 nobody, was not only still in the game but also ranked 3rd with 10,000 points. Luo Feng believed that Yiwu had earned his points through sheer luck, but he was confident that luck would run out once they met. After uncovering this intriguing information, Luo Feng quickly directed his team and allies to hunt down other teams, using the locations displayed on the system panel. Relying on the player location map, Luo Feng began instructing his team to target Yiwu, whom he considered to be a mere waste. In another scene, a panicked figure dashed across the forest, each breath a testament to his exhaustion. It was none other than Zhu Tian, the leader of a rival team. His face clearly revealing sheer terror, he ran, frequently glancing over his shoulder. He had never anticipated finding himself in such a dangerous predicament, especially after his team had so boldly targeted Yiwu for points. He quickly evaded a burst of fire, his dodge showing his desperation. To him, his attacker seemed like an unstoppable demon. Consumed by fear, Zhu Tian recognized the irony of his predicament. Once the hunter, his team was now the hunted. He couldn't fathom, how could someone dismissed as a level 3 nobody wield such astonishing power? In a flash, his chances of escape diminished as flames from Yiwu blocked his path. The sound of approaching footsteps grew louder, followed by a mocking voice. "What are you running from?" Unaware, Zhu Tian had Yiwu and Ruin Tian right behind him. They strolled through the fire barrier unaffected, their eyes intense. Yiwu, flames dancing on his hand, said menacingly, "I don't consume people. Besides, aren't you after my accumulation?" Hearing this, Zhu Tian turned pale, sweat pouring down his face abundantly. With a challenging demeanor, Yiwu continued, "I'm here waiting for you to kill me. Come on." Yiwu's words only infuriated Zhu Tian even more, as all his teammates had been killed by him. In his despair and frustration, he lunged at Yiwu, throwing a punch, and shouted, "I'll kill you." However, Yiwu effortlessly caught his attack. Calmly, he told Zhu Tian, "Whether you're a saint or a demon, or even justice incarnate, it's irrelevant. In a game of points, all is fair." Finally, Yiwu simply snapped his fingers, setting Zhu Tian ablaze. Zhu Tian's health points decreased rapidly. Before meeting his end, Yiwu left him with a message, "Next time, bring more people when you challenge me." Defeating Zhu Tian earned Yiwu 6,500 points and a primary recovery agent. According to the usual dungeon mechanisms, when a player dies within it, automatic systems such as PvP protection are activated, forcing Zhu Tian to be teleported out. Yiwu, deep in thought, recognized the change in the rules and mechanisms of the dungeon, such as revealing score rankings and player locations, as the distinct style of the young lady. She was pushing him towards more brutal confrontations. However, ultimately, this worked in Yiwu's favor as he merely had to wait for points to come to him. A notification suddenly popped up, exclaiming, "Congratulations! Team Yiwu has ascended to first place with a score of 22,500 points." Ruin Tian's eyes lit up with joy when she heard the news. She hugged Yiwu in excitement and exclaimed with thrill, "We're in first place, Yiwu, first place. Can you believe it?" However, Yiwu responded with measured calmness, "Okay, got it." His eyes, steady and serious, betrayed no hint of celebration. But this is not the time to revel and lower our guard. After that, Yiwu checked the remaining players' information. Currently, only 3 teams with 12 players remained. With so few players left, it indicated that this was the critical moment to determine the winner of the dungeon competition. As Yiwu checked the remaining players' information, Ruin Tian, with an expression of worry, gazed at the same information and asked, her voice trembling with confusion, "Why do Luo Feng's team and Zhang Yi's team keep following us all the time without doing anything?" She remained focused on the information, waiting for an answer to dissipate her confusion. Yi Wu replied calmly, "It's all because Luo Feng is very cautious in every action he takes. Right now, he's hiding, observing because my performance exceeded his expectations. Once he calculates with full confidence, he will emerge to try to kill me." Upon hearing this, Ruan Tian was furious. "What a despicable act," she exclaimed. "I have also heard from Yunfei that Luo Feng has been troubling you constantly." Yi Wu replied firmly, "Don't worry about that. Our main priority right now is to find the dungeon's boss." But Ruan Tian thought differently. Aware that the Shadow Dryad could merge with the forest, she said gravely, "No one has ever found it. Perhaps the Academy chose the Shadow Forest for this competition from the beginning, hoping we'd determine the winner through PvP points." Yi Wu looked at her, speaking with a tone of surprise, amazed that she could come to such a conclusion. Seeing his reaction, Ruan Tian remarked with a proud smile, "Just because I'm pretty, don't underestimate my intelligence." Yi Wu acknowledged that the main purpose of this dungeon competition was to test each student's PvP skills. Yet, beyond this challenge, his personal goal was set to find and defeat the dungeon boss. He was driven by the belief that defeating this boss would reward him with valuable equipment and experience points. With this conviction, Yi Wu decided to use his special skill which he had bought for 70,000 experience points, Eye of Reality. Once activated, a giant eye appeared in the sky, emitting energy waves like a radar that can detect creatures within its vast range. With his special skill activated, he ensured that nothing remained hidden from his sight. He successfully located the dungeon boss named Shadow Dryad, a boss that no one had ever found before. Later, the fire energy released to activate his special skill dispersed through the forest, acting like a navigation system and leading the way to the dungeon boss's location. Yi Wu was immensely satisfied with the capabilities provided by this skill, especially appreciating its navigation system feature. Therefore, he decided to give it a 5-star rating. Then, Yi Wu immediately ran, following the navigation's direction, loudly telling Ruan Tian that he had found the final boss and urging her to hurry so it wouldn't be beaten by others. Ruan Tian quickly followed Yi Wu but asked him to keep a low profile because his shout might be overheard by others. Meanwhile, Luo Feng's team, hiding behind the bushes, heard Yi Wu's words. A teammate whispered to Luo Feng that Yi Wu must be joking, suspecting it was a trap meant to lure them in. Luo Feng, fuming with anger, couldn't believe this side of Yi Wu, someone who, unlike his usual weak self, always needed others' help. The same teammate spoke up again, pointing out the clear signs that Yi Wu had defeated almost everyone from 4 teams without them being able to fight back. Then, he asked Luo Feng, "Do you want to proceed?" Driven by his desire to join Hanmo's attack team, Luo Feng was insistent on taking points from Yi Wu and didn't care about Yi Wu's intentions, because he was going to make him understand with his fists. After that, Luo Feng followed Yi Wu, telling his teammates to keep up with him. He had a clear objective in mind, to defeat Yi Wu and conquer the final dungeon boss. All teammates followed Luo Feng and moved with him. As they were eagerly chasing Yi Wu, a teammate checked the system's player location map and exclaimed in surprise, "Brother Feng, Yi Wu's location. It's gone." Luo Feng's expression showed his annoyance, wondering how Yi Wu could just disappear. When did he learn that skill? He felt like Yi Wu was tricking him. Since Yi Wu had disappeared, Luo Feng decided to surround and capture Ruan Tian first. He didn't think that Yi Wu would just watch without doing anything. "If you want to play this game, then I will stay with you until the end, Yi Wu," he said determinedly. Meanwhile, Ruan Tian was left alone in the forest, fear enveloping her. With a voice shaking from anxiety, she continued to call out the name of the great god. "Stop playing around, where are you? This is not the time for hide and seek." Her words echoed among the trees, but there was no reply. Before leaving, Yi Wu had left her with a few words, "Please be the bait," and then he disappeared. Ruan Tian sighed deeply, her mind trying to figure out the meaning behind the command. After a moment of thinking, she realized that she was asked to serve as bait to lure Luo Feng and the others out of hiding. However, doubt stayed in her heart. Can they be deceived so easily? She wondered. At that moment, unbeknownst to Ruan Tian, Luo Feng had already stood to her right side. Suddenly, Luo Feng was in front of her, his cold eyes staring at her. "Where is Yi Wu?" he asked sharply, blocking Ruan Tian's path. Ruan Tian's heartbeat sped up, surprised that her bait was taken so soon. "What do you mean by blocking me like this?" she replied, trying to hide her fear behind words. Luo Feng moved closer, pressing Ruan Tian with his piercing gaze. "Tell me, where is Yi Wu hiding?" Ruintian felt her knees weaken, tears starting to fill her eyes. "I really don't know," she said in an almost silent voice. "You can see on the map that he's disappeared." But Luo Feng clearly didn't believe her. "Trying to fool me. Believe it or not, I will kill you right now," he threatened. Ruintian, utterly powerless, hoped in her mind that Yiwu would appear soon. She didn't know how much longer she could withstand this pressure. But instead of Yiwu, something else happened. Suddenly, the ground beneath them began to vibrate, an earthquake shaking their surroundings with mighty power. Panic spread. What's happening? An earthquake. As they focused on the quake, a large, horrifying shadow of a hand loomed above them, enveloping almost all the teammates. With a lightning-fast movement, the giant hand successfully pinned the players to the ground. Luo Feng and the two remaining members didn't even have time to respond. He managed to turn slightly, asking what happened. But it was too late. The immense pressure had taken their lives. A gigantic tree monster emerged from the darkness, its veins filled with a green flow that was none other than the forest's life energy. It was the final boss of the dungeon, the Shadow Dryad, a rare elite monster of level 10. Luo Feng and his teammates looked tiny in front of it. Each teammate began to tremble in fear at the sight of such a terrifying existence. They felt unlucky to have run into a boss, especially when they thought they could win just by using PvP points. Now, how would they handle this? While his teammates were still paralyzed by fear, Luo Feng bravely ran towards the horrifying monster, tightly gripping his shield. "There's no need to be afraid," he calmly told his team. "The Shadow Dryad is only level 10. And there are 10 of us." He asked his teammates to line up while he prepared to attack. Swiftly, Luo Feng launched an assault, slashing through the monster's body with his axe. He exploited the enemy's attribute weakness, wood being vulnerable to iron, making his attack highly effective. The monster responded with a terrifying roar, raising its giant hand, preparing to counterattack Luo Feng. Quickly, Luo Feng instructed his teammates, "Cast fire magic." The monster tried to attack by extending its large hand to pierce through Luo Feng, but the shield successfully deflected the attack, keeping Luo Feng safe. Amidst the clash, Luo Feng shouted to his teammates, "Keep refreshing me with health point buffs." After that, Luo Feng charged towards the monster again, shield and axe in hand, continuously being refreshed with health point buffs, and with fireballs accompanying his every step toward the creature. His teammates continuously fired fireballs at the monster, applying consistent damage per second without giving it a chance to retaliate. Amidst the intense battle, Ruintian witnessed professional teamwork unfold before her eyes and was awestruck. Reflecting on it, she realized such cohesion wasn't typical of a newly formed team. He genuinely possessed remarkable skills. As fireballs kept raining on the monster, its health points steadily decreased drastically, 90%. 80%, 70%, accompanied by its screams of pain echoing through the area. Seeing this situation, Ruintian became increasingly panicked, pondering and wondering where Yiwu was. If he doesn't appear or come out soon, the Shadow Dryad will surely be conquered by Luo Feng and his team. Conversely, Luo Feng was awash with confidence, firmly believing that by sustaining their present assault rhythm, victory over the monster was assured. With the numerical advantage and his leadership, he was convinced that a level 10 monster would be no more than a minor obstacle. However, his confidence faded when his attack struck the monster, causing a mere 0 damage. He quickly realized the monster had sensed danger, transitioning into a defensive mode, its body turning to stone and becoming immune to all attacks. The Shadow Dryad, previously vulnerable to the wood attribute, had now morphed into its second phase, its entire form adopting a stone-like constitution, rendering the former weakness irrelevant. Luo Feng hastily informed his teammates of this unexpected development. After transitioning to the second phase, the monster stomped forcefully onto the ground. Extraordinary momentum and pressure emerged, creating crevices that formed depressions, into which green energy began to seep. Unfamiliar with the monster's new stage and overwhelmed by the chaos, the team's courage weakened. Staring at the creature, one member voiced their collective panic to Luo Feng. "What should I do next, Brother Feng?" Suddenly, a rumbling sound emanated from beneath the ground. Tree roots began to emerge from the previous cracks, leaving the team puzzled. What is happening to these trees? They wondered. Numerous minions were summoned, simultaneously lining up, their dark, formidable forms encircling the area, sealing all escape routes. Now, the Shadow Dryad revealed not only superiority in minions but also overwhelming strength, with each of the minions possessing a formidable level of at least 7. Luo Feng tried to calm everything down, urging to flee yet maintaining their stand within the formation. All hatred was drawn towards him, and so he pleaded not to create chaos. However, no one responded to his command. Turning around, he saw teammates panicking, running aimlessly, which certainly infuriated him. Elsewhere, Ruin Tian was captured by a minion, which played with her by suspending her upside down. Holding her skirt, she screamed for help from the great god. Then Yiwu came to her rescue, slamming into the monster's stomach so hard that it stumbled to the ground. Meanwhile, Ruin Tian was tossed into the air. As Ruin Tian fell, spinning downward, she screamed loudly. Yiwu caught her perfectly, akin to a princess's embrace, and told her that her mission was complete, and what remained was to watch and escape. Hearing this, Ruin Tian was overjoyed because she could help execute Yiwu's plan. Luo Feng, busy with the minions, was enraged at Yiwu, accusing him of having everything planned out, reaping the benefits like a leisurely fisherman, which was utterly despicable. However, Yiwu was not pleased with his words because he was merely a spectator to the show. Moreover, he had indeed planned to confront the dungeon boss. Acknowledging Yiwu's abilities, Luo Feng, busy fighting the minions, requested him to act as cannon fodder and lead the Shadow Dryad towards him. Yiwu replied calmly, remarking on his sky-high arrogance. At the same moment, one of Luo Feng's teammates, charging straight ahead with a menacing tone, demanded Yiwu to clear the path or face death. However, the opposite occurred. He instead ran towards hell as Yiwu easily burned him with just a touch. From this action, Yiwu gained 85 points. Seeing his action made Luo Feng very angry. He also said to him, "How can you kill your own people at this crucial moment?" However, Yiwu responded with a face that radiated an unabashed desire, seemingly affirming his viewpoint that everyone inside this dungeon was merely a pawn in his game, just moving objects and a source of points to help him maintain his position as the champion of the dungeon competition. Enraged by Yiwu's audacity, Luo Feng, wielding an axe and shield, ran towards Yiwu, intending to kill him. Nonetheless, Yiwu appeared calm. With an expression that showed no concern, he greeted Luo Feng with the words, "Ha, so soon." Yiwu easily deflected the attack. After giving Luo Feng a powerful slap, he warned, "Without strength, emotion leads quickly to death on the battlefield." The force of the slap knocked Luo Feng to the ground. When he got up, he was filled with anger and disbelief, doubting Yiwu could defeat the dungeon boss by himself. Although he could have killed Luo Feng, Yiwu decided to spare him, planning to showcase Luo Feng's mistake by defeating the dungeon boss later on. Yiwu, surrounded by minions, lifted his hand, activating a skill that created a massive flower with a sword of flame at its core, which hovered in the sky. Before unleashing the attack, he explained to Luo Feng that this was how he claimed all the points and then retired entirely. The sword expanded, radiating fiery sword energy in all directions. This energy rapidly targeted the minions and Luo Feng's entire team, accompanied by a persistent ringing as points accumulated. Teammates perished without a fight. "Damn, Yiwu!" Their cries of agony and disbelief permeated the air. The minions also suffered, with sword energy piercing them, causing them to shriek, "Moth, moth, moth," something only their kind understood. A teammate begged Luo Feng for help, but nothing could be done. Noticing the minions' predicament, the Shadow Dryad quickly absorbed power from those on the brink of death, funneling it into its mouth. The creature transformed, its body brimming with energy until it exploded, sending fragments raining down from the sky like stone rain. From behind the dispersing dust emerged a new, horrifying figure, the Shadow Dryad, now smaller and more fearsome in its shadow state form, possessing wood and dark attributes and with only 40% of its health points remaining. Unexpectedly, Yiwu suddenly lost sight of the Shadow Dryad. Before he could react, the Shadow Dryad appeared abruptly behind him. While it still had hands, other parts of its limbs had transformed into sharp, weapon-like structures, poised to strike. He was taken aback. So fast, the Shadow Dryad's movement speed had drastically increased since its transformation. With sharp reflexes, Yiwu managed to block the Shadow Dryad's attack with his flaming sword. However, in his mind, he thought this was not the speed a level 10 boss should possess. The Shadow Dryad's attack power was overwhelming, and he couldn't withstand it, causing his body to be flung into the air. He realized that even though the Shadow Dryad had reduced in size, its speed had increased, and its strength was still as strong as before. Without a specific strategy, defeating it would be a formidable challenge. Looking up sharply at Yiwu, the Shadow Dryad prepared for another assault. Numerous sharp tree branches, enveloped in a green aura, emerged from its back. It aimed and launched them towards him, much like missiles zooming towards a target. Observing the fight, Luo Feng grinned confidently as he saw Yiwu cornered. He was confident that Yiwu couldn't kill the monster boss alone. With several swings of his flaming sword, Yiwu managed to cut through the attack, setting the pieces ablaze with his fire. For Yiwu, every dire situation had a solution, and he knew just the trick for this one. After all, this was only a level 10 boss, he only needed to exploit the monster's weak point. Facing the monster's attack, Yiwu's fire proved unstoppable, especially since creatures of the wood attribute were highly vulnerable to fire. The monster roared with uncontrollable anger, its attacks easily shattered by Yiwu. Roar! A deafening scream from the monster echoed throughout the forest. With lightning-fast movements, Yiwu suddenly vanished, reappearing behind the Shadow Dryad. The monster, disoriented, had barely any time to react before Yiwu's calm yet threatening voice said, "The simple strategy to defeat it, just add fire." The monster then turned around, unaware that numerous sword strikes had already hit its body, setting it ablaze. Its health points instantly dropped to 0. A notification appeared, declaring that Yiwu's team had successfully defeated the dungeon boss, Shadow Dryad, earning 10,000 points, and the first kill received an extra 10,000 points. With this victory, player Yiwu achieved a new milestone. After the dungeon boss was defeated, the competition in the Shadow Forest dungeon was completed, with only 3 survivors left. The portal then opened, prompting players to exit as quickly as possible. There remained an unresolved issue. Yiwu stared at Luo Feng and told him that the game was over and it was now his turn to die. Luo Feng immediately knelt before Yiwu, his face displaying a pitiful expression, pleading for his life to be spared. He also expressed willingness to become Yiwu's brother, just like before. However, Yiwu, with a flat expression and folded arms, responded that Luo Feng was no longer worthy of being his brother because he had lost that qualification. Hearing the rejection and seeing Yiwu's facial expression, Luo Feng became infuriated and tried to attack him with his axe. However, with a swift response, Yiwu severed Luo Feng's arm. Ruintian scolded Luo Feng for attempting a covert attack, telling him that such a despicable trick would be useless against the great god. Despite his sly expression, Luo Feng still had a backup plan and then threw a smoke bomb to cover his tracks and fled. As the smoke began to clear, Luo Feng had disappeared, leaving only a torn card behind. Ruintian, watching closely, instantly recognized it as a puppet card that he had just used to escape. Suddenly, Luo Feng was already in front of the exit portal, raising his left hand and saying, "Goodbye, Yiwu." His words implied a criticism. Despite Yiwu's strength, his combat experience was insufficient. Yiwu's expression turned bitter and flat. He was already familiar with Luo Feng's cunning schemes, so it no longer surprised him. Luo Feng laughed satisfyingly, half of his body already inside the portal. Turning around, he declared, "Don't think you can get points from me," bursting into hearty laughter, hinting at a system where points could be stolen or taken. Before his entire body entered the portal, Yiwu turned powerfully, releasing a slash of energy from his flaming sword while proclaiming, "In the face of absolute power, experience means nothing." The sword attack sliced through with incredible speed, cleaving the trees in its path and striking Luo Feng. Right at that moment, Luo Feng's body was cleaved in two. Without a chance to react, Yiwu successfully defeated him, taking all of Luo Feng's points. With Luo Feng's fall, the number of players left in the dungeon was now only 2, Yiwu at the top with 62,000 points, and Ruintian in second place with 21,000 points. Ruintian accumulated 21,000 points in the dungeon, which could be converted into 210,000 in currency at a 110 exchange rate, filling her with joy. At that moment, Yiwu revealed to Ruintian that he had planned from the beginning to disband the team once the dungeon was completed, solely to claim the main prize of 500,000 for himself. He then asked Ruintian not to comment on this decision. Gratefully, Ruintian took Yiwu's hand and said, "I'm truly satisfied with what we've achieved together." Seeing her reaction, a faint smile appeared on Yiwu's face. He felt relieved and thankful that Ruintian kept a positive mindset. Having successfully defeated the dungeon boss, the Shadow Dryad, Yiwu gained 50,000 experience points and an additional 20,000 points. Moreover, Yiwu obtained props, namely branches of Dryad, thick skin of Dryad, and level 10 magic crystal. Furthermore, Yiwu obtained a gemstone known as an inlaid gem. The green gemstone, now in his possession, had the ability to enhance healing rates. However, after thinking it over, he realized the gemstone was useless to him. So, he offered the gem to Ruintian. Swiftly, he threw the gem. Ruintian, with her skill, caught it deftly. Yet in that moment, confusion was painted across her face. She couldn't understand why Yiwu would give her such a valuable item. Ruintian was deeply moved after Yiwu gave her the precious gem. Even though she hadn't contributed much, she had still received this valuable gift. She wondered, "Could it be possible that you have feelings for me?" However, Yu immediately replied, "Please stop your unrealistic fantasy." Then he opened the system panel to disband the team. Yu also explained that the precious gem was simply a gift because she had acted as bait. Suddenly, a loud warning sound echoed, a clear signal of danger. "Please leave the instance quickly," a voice commanded. A countdown timer appeared. The portal would close in 20 seconds. The sense of urgency escalated as the dungeon space began to collapse and the ground cracked open. Ruintian felt a deep panic. Holding her head, she closed her eyes tightly and exclaimed in panic, "What's happening?" Yu quickly realized that the abnormal situation in the dungeon might be caused by a serious event happening outside. More specifically, something seemed to be occurring at the academy.